Hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff. Do not forget to leave a like on the video. Yeah, it helps out the channel immensely. Like really, it helps out a lot more than you could imagine. Very big thank you to everyone out there who leaves a comment on the videos as well. This is going to continue to be a very big topic, I think, for the near foreseeable future. We talked about this earlier in the year and even more so the last 3 weeks. It keeps popping up as a topic of discussion. Apparently, Wall Street, larger investors, big money, they're no longer content with cryptocurrency prices just rising. Yeah, I know that sounds insane, especially when you actually even look at it and you see that Bitcoin this is a real number. Bitcoin has gone up by millions of percent since it was first created. The idea is now and this is, I think, going to be the thing for 2026. We touched on this a bit before, but now it's just kind of like lightly getting out of hand because it's constantly in the news. I think next year is going to revolve heavily around the idea of tokenization. You must have at some point heard someone talking about this. The literal digitization of everyday assets. So real estate, cars, diamonds, gold, anything that has value, basically putting its value or like the digitized version of itself onto a chain. So you know how you would like buy real estate and you would have like a property deed of it? Imagine that simply being online, but like tied to the actual ownership. So you, in essence, would be able to say, okay, I own this house and I want to put, it is digitized and I'm going to sell off 49% of it through the chain. So, anybody who wants a fragment legally of this home is going to be able to do so. This is going to be major. It's already really big. We have a lot of banks and world banks already talking about doing this. This isn't like maybe in a couple of years they'll think about it. Like, no, it's actively happening right now. The second thing is going to be stable coins. We seemingly cannot get away from any of the stable coin news over the last few months. Companies, banks, governments are all salivating, actually salivating at the idea of being able to launch and release and have their own central bank digital currencies. We've gone over it before. They're not calling it central bank digital currencies because that scared the public. So now they're all just calling it stable coins. It's the exact same thing. And those are going to begin to be launched next year. And we should relatively soon start hearing about which chains that they're on. The third thing, without a doubt, that's going to be very popular is the idea of yield. One of the reasons why Ethereum has been popular from the get-go was because of a promise that we now have right now, and it was for staking. In the future, you'll be able to buy Ether, put it onto a computer, and basically look at it, and it'll make you free money. That's the promise, and we actually got it. Other coins don't have this, especially proof of work coins that like you need the tons of like big machines to be able to create them, and Bitcoin is one of them. Also coins that were also pre-mined, they do not have this, and this is why we heard before about the Flare network for XRP. The issue is, as it were, is that Bitcoin is the number one coin. And as such, the biggest investors have thrown all of their money into or towards Bitcoin. This means that, as we heard last year and heard in another video before, I don't know if it's just like a a good little quip to throw out there, little sound bite that everyone's using. People keep calling Bitcoin boring. It's because Bitcoin, unlike Ether, doesn't produce a yield, doesn't produce passive income, doesn't make money from just sitting there. So we heard earlier this year that Kraken integrated Babylon as a way to give passive income for Bitcoin. We heard of another protocol that gives like 1.2% return. There was another one recently, like Curve Protocol or some Curve Finance. That sounds more familiar. Who also announced that they're releasing something so that Bitcoin can earn some kind of a yield. What this is going to, sorry if I'm screaming. What this is going to morph into is a world where every crypto is kind of by nature more or less required to have some kind of a passive income staking yield thing with it, or people will kind of ignore it. That's the way that it more or less feels. Up until now, we've just simply had a number of smaller players within the space announcing we're going to do this, we're thinking about doing that, we might have this, we want to do this. And when you look at this one, it's like, okay, well, this is clearly going to cause everyone else to do the exact same thing. Can you guess who? I'm pretty sure you can. BlackRock. Yeah, BlackRock is no longer content with having their Bitcoin IBIT BTC ETF be the largest ETF ever thing that was ever created, the most popular, the quickest growing, all those other things. BlackRock has registered a Delaware trust company as they are trying to file for and want to launch what they are calling a Bitcoin Premium Income ETF. Yeah. Bloomberg ETF analyst, his name is Eric Balchunas, we've been hearing about him for years, said BlackRock's proposed product would sell covered call options, collecting premiums from other derivatives. Wait the face. There we go. From other derivatives of Bitcoin in order to generate a yield. It says this is a covered call Bitcoin strategy in order to give Bitcoin some yield. This will act as a 33-act spot product sequel to their $100 billion IBIT Bitcoin ETF. So I think that this is going to, I've said it before, and this is, I think it's coming true. It's not that this is a magical prediction. It's just more of a, yeah. We are kind of at the final stretch for coins to be able to prove themselves. I do not think that the next 3 years plus in the cryptocurrency space are going to have the same narrative of 10,000 to 15,000 different coins in the market. I think we're going to see a heavy whittle down of around 7 to 10, maybe 15 different coins. These coins are going to have to adopt and adapt. They'll need adoption and they will need to adapt to the market. Very, very quick. They will need to have some kind of a yield. They will need to produce some kind of passive income. And they will need to be adopted. Yeah. So all those coins I was telling you about years ago, probably to steer clear from. You probably should steer clear of them. Because as we move further into 2026, we keep hearing this jingle, this rhythm, this idea, this echo in the sky that only certain coins are being paid attention to. Certain coins are being purchased by the banks and governments and hedge funds out there. And I mean, I don't have to tell you that Bitcoin is clearly one of them. But the other big thing, and I know some of you will hear me. I know some of you don't give a gosh darn. But for those of you who are listening, this is going to be the new face of like making money passively. We went over that briefly in another video about real estate. But this is going to be the way in the future. And I say if Bitcoin does indeed hit 5 million, 10 million, 20 million dollars, this will add up rather quickly. When it comes to like generating some kind of yield, this is going to be the way in the future to like earn passive income and also to never have to work again. The issue is that only rich people are paying attention to it. Only rich people are paying attention to all the trends and things that are happening. Prices dip, it gets bought by whales. Prices go up, it gets bought by whales. And we still seemingly at the moment do not have a large amount of retail investors within the space, which is a gosh darn shame. Yeah, BlackRock's going to be launching a Bitcoin income ETF. Same exact way that they've been trying to get staking on their Ethereum ETF. It basically becomes an ETF that if you hold some of the shares, you make passive income. That's the name of the game. Well, I think that's going to do it for this video. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.